the next habitable planet is, however many light years away, right? It's kind of past our lifespan to even get there. So I think
Right.
it's like that for a reason. I think that.
Nice to meet you, Adam. I'm Brendan.
All right.
And so I like to just ask people questions about ideas they have and like where they got those ideas from.
Okay.
So just have some basic questions, and I'll try to keep it just like 5 minutes or so,
Okay.
and leave anytime you want. But
Sounds good. All right.
what has there been anything that has been on your mind, or maybe there's some things that people think you're weird for thinking, or anything like that?
Oh man. I don't know, man. I feel like I have a lot of opinions about a lot of things. I don't know about any like pressing topics at the moment.
Yeah.
What do you what kind of
So
topics are
I've
you
talked to
suggesting?
people about low-income housing and the nature of science. Talked to people about gun control, about how whether like aliens exist, all sorts of things,
I like
or
aliens.
beliefs in like there's a few different like cupping and things like that. But so aliens is something
Aliens is cool.
Yeah, cool.
Aliens.
What do you have? What are your thoughts on aliens, like intelligent life or anything like that?
We're not started
Oh,
yet.
you're fine. Well, I am recording, but you can sit wherever. Yeah, you're fine.
Definitely out there, for sure.
Okay.
Have to be.
Uh-huh.
The sheer size of the universe. Right?
Yeah.
We're just a little tiny speck in an infinite. Has to be more. I'm pretty sure that they've found something, even if maybe not necessarily walking and talking things, but even if it was a little thing in a microscope, I mean that still counts.
Right.
So if you're talking about life outside of here, that definitely counts if it's moving around and doing little stuff.
Got it. So you think that there has to be life outside of Earth, basically?
For sure.
Is that right?
For sure.
And is it something that you think we've encountered before, or?
So one of the things that I think is interesting, because everything has rules, right? Like we operate off of physics rules, and if you think about it, like stuff is so far away from us. Like the next habitable planet is, however many light years away, right? It's kind of past our lifespan to even get there. So I think it's like that for a reason. I think that things are separated that far for a reason, so that they don't necessarily interact with each other. And I think that their physical lifespan limits the distance that they could travel to even get to the next thing. Unless you talk about like wormholes and shortcuts, but I think that that's wishful thinking to a certain degree. But it still doesn't discount the fact that there's something else out there.
I see. So you think that life exists, but it's separated for a reason.
For sure.
What do you think that reason would be?
I don't think certain things are supposed to be. I think that could cause a lot of problems. Just look at how we treat animals, right? We feel we're smarter, so we feel like we can take this animal and put it in captivity, or whatever, just because we feel superior. If anybody were to come here, if any alien or any other life form comes here, they're automatically superior to us because we can't do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So therefore, we're gonna be putting ourselves in a situation where we could be in a captivity situation, or just somewhere where we don't want to be. Because one of the reasons why we're dominating this world so well is we have an image of ourselves that we're superior and this is ours. But as soon as that idea is challenged, then where does that leave us? You know what I mean?
Right. So it's like we're sort of a superior. We think we're superior, but if this other alien species or something came then they would have to be way more advanced, and we would be potentially in danger or something.
I think so. I mean, it would be a danger to our ideology, which has ripple effects.
Right. What kind of ripple effects? Like.
Yeah. I already think that certain sets of rules that we've lived by, moving throughout our history, like religion and different social mechanisms for not necessarily control, but for order, rules and how people should live. Some of these things have been challenged, by science, which kind of like anytime when it's challenged, it's on display for that, whatever is being challenged, to kind of combat that. And the more technology that comes out, and especially if aliens were to show up, where is that part? You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's defeated.
I see.
So
what would it defeat?
It would defeat the fact. First of all, it never says anything about that, right? It doesn't say that, you're just you are created, like you're the one, right? Like you guys, don't mind anybody else, don't worry about anybody else coming, because if anybody else is coming, it means like there's the judgment going on, right? Like angels are supposed to be coming, or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of ideology. If anybody's coming, it's God's coming down to either judge or take people or fix something, So it's kind of like. Since it doesn't talk about that, it never was explained, it challenges the rest of the legitimacy of what was being said.
What was being said? What was being said, like? Like,
for instance, if you think about, like, the Dark Ages, right? There's nothing going on, but Christianity, that's it, and this is how we're supposed to do it, and this is it, and you can't be thinking on your own like that, and you have to follow these tight rules. That was just their way of control. It worked for a little while, but one thing that I believe is that there's no perfect way to control a group of people. It always has an end. It's just some are better than others, and better only meaning that they are longer lasting. But there's always something.
The methods of control.
Yeah, any method of control. I mean, obviously we've seen different ancient civilizations that we know about. Obviously they were successful because we know about them. And if they've lasted for thousands and thousands of years, they didn't last forever. They just lasted thousands and thousands of years. Versus some are only lasting hundreds or maybe 8,000 or whatever before they have their own problems that break them down.
I see. And coming back to the idea of the aliens being separated for a reason you mentioned, what do you think's the main reason that you think this is true?
I think just by what I've seen, like different documentaries and space documentaries. In particular, there was one that's talking about how big is the universe. I remember is the title of it, and it was just talking about how expansive things are, and that there's a theory that it's constantly growing in distance. And if you tell me that the next habitable planet is 100-something light years away, I mean, if you were going a light year, that's pretty fast.
Yeah,
we can't
space
do that.
Is huge.
And you're talking about I have to be doing that speed for 100 years. I mean, how old am I going to be when I get there? You know what I mean? Like that's just for the chance of the next habitable planet. What if the next one? What if the real one was twice that far? Like I can't make it there. People's lifespans can't make it there.
Is it possible that aliens don't exist, do you think? Well,
when you say aliens, are you talking about just life in general, or walking, talking, thinking, functional societies?
Good question. Which did you have in mind?
I feel like the way that you asked me that question, you were referring to the walking, talking, functional societies. Is there a possibility that they don't exist? I guess anything is possible.
Right.
Anything is possible, but if they don't exist, it begs it for a different question of why the hell is it so massive? Why is it so big?
Right.
If there's nothing there.
That comes back to like, it sounds like you feel like there are reasons for things. Right. Where do you think those reasons come from?
Well, one of the reasons why I think that there's reasons for things is because in nature, like what we know, like what we can see and stuff like that, if something doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it's not conducive to whatever its environment is or its organism that it's affecting, it just doesn't work. Yeah. That's why polar bears aren't brown. They're white. Okay. They got to be in the snow to hunt. You know, the brown ones just didn't work.
Right.
You know, I think that when things don't work on a smaller level, they don't work on a bigger level. So maybe what we're seeing is the trickle down effect of something that didn't work smaller, they can't work bigger.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. So on like a universal scale, if there's some reason for this separation, otherwise there would be problems that wouldn't work?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think that it wouldn't work. I think that it would be destructive. I think that the natural way of like this, it doesn't happen. There's no way that there's going to be anybody that shows up in the sky and everything is just fine. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, it sounds good. Whatever alien movies have been out, there's some really, really realistic ones, I think. Have you ever seen that movie called District 9?
Yeah.
The one, I think it was in South Africa, where there was a spaceship up there, and then they were stuck. Yeah. And then they ended up having them in like camps, almost like they were like ice camps or whatever. And damn if that wasn't realistic to me, man.
Yeah.
Because what else do you do, you know?
Right.
So,
It's a good movie.
It was a pretty good movie, yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's about all the questions I have for you.
Okay.
So, did you have any questions for me or anything?
Not really, man. I enjoyed the interview.
Awesome.
Man.
I appreciate it, Adam.
Yep.
And yeah, you can find it on Diamond Discourse.